Snake Island. Snake Island, also known as Ilha da Queimada Grande, is a truly unique place located off the coast of Brazil in the Atlantic Ocean. The island is home to a vast population of snakes, including the critically endangered venomous golden lancehead pit viper, Bothrops insularis. Covering just 43 hectares, it boasts a diverse terrain of rainforest and bare rock, with a temperate climate. After the last ice age, rising sea levels isolated the island, trapping the snakes and leading to their rapid population growth and adaptation. Today, Snake Island is closed to the public to protect both humans and snakes, with access restricted to the Brazilian Navy and approved researchers. The island's snakes primarily feed on birds, which makes for an interesting and unique diet. Despite earlier claims of 1 snake per square meter, recent estimates suggest a population of 2,000 to 4,000 golden lanceheads, mainly in the rainforest area. This lower number reflects limited resources and possibly inbreeding effects, marking the species as critically endangered. But there is hope. Besides the golden lancehead, the island also hosts the non-venomous Dipsas albifrons snake. The island is home to a magnificent lighthouse, built in 1909, which was automated after the last human inhabitants left. The island and nearby Ilha Queimada Pequena are protected areas, preserving their unique ecological significance. Danakil Desert. The incredible Danakil Desert, also known as the Afar Desert, spans northeast Ethiopia, southern Eritrea, and northwestern Djibouti. Located in the Afar Triangle, it covers 136,956 square kilometers of arid land. The few Afar inhabitants engage in salt mining, which is a fascinating and ancient practice. The Danakil Desert is known for its volcanoes and extreme heat, with temperatures often exceeding 50 degrees Celsius, 122 degrees Fahrenheit. It's one of the hottest and lowest places on Earth, featuring Dalal, the hottest year-round inhabited place globally, with an average annual temperature of 34.6 degrees Celsius, 94.3 degrees Fahrenheit. The region's hot desert climate is due to low elevation, tropical location, and proximity to the Red Sea. Geologically, the area has volcanic and tectonic activity, with layers of sandstone and limestone from ancient sea inundations. Lava flows have formed lakes like Lake Afrera, which has thick saline crusts. The region also has salt deposits from historic Red Sea floods, with salt mining being a key activity for locals. The Afar mine salt is transported by camel to nearby towns, despite the harsh conditions and risks from bandits. Some local lakes include Lake Asale and Lake Julieti Afrera, both below sea level. There are plenty of active volcanoes in the area, including Marajo, Dabahu, Afdera, and Erta Ale. There are even plans to flood the depression via a channel from the ocean. Death Valley. Death Valley in eastern California's Mojave Desert is the hottest place on Earth during summer. The Timbisha tribe has lived there for over a millennium, and it's a truly amazing place to visit. Badwater Basin, the lowest point in North America, is 282 feet below sea level. Death Valley's highest temperature, 134 degrees Fahrenheit, was recorded at Furnace Creek in 1913, though this is disputed. The valley is a whopping 3,000 square miles and is largely within Death Valley National Park. Geologically, Death Valley is a graben with significant fault activity. It once contained Lake Manly during the Pleistocene era. Its climate is extremely dry and hot due to its location in the rain shadow of 4 mountain ranges. The valley sees little rainfall and high temperatures due to geographic factors, including solar heating and warm air trapping. Death Valley is home to a diverse ecosystem, teeming with spring wildflowers, bighorn sheep, and over 600 springs and ponds. The Timbisha name for the valley, Tumpisa, means rock paint, and it's easy to see why. It was named Death Valley during the California Gold Rush, after 13 pioneers died crossing it. Gold, silver, and borax have been mined there since the 1850s, and the area is still buzzing with activity today. Skeleton Coast. The Skeleton Coast, the northern part of Namibia's Atlantic coast, stretches from the Kunene River to the Swakop River. It is known as the land god made in anger by the Sand People and the gates of hell by Portuguese sailors. It features dense fogs from the Benguela Current and minimal rainfall. The coast has soft sand, rocky outcrops, gravel plains, and high sand dunes, making it inhospitable. The Skeleton Coast gets its name from the numerous shipwrecks caused by offshore rocks and fog. Over 1,000 shipwrecks, including the Edward Bolen and Dunedin Star, litter the coast. The Dunedin Star's wreck was chronicled in John Henry Marsh's 1944 book, which popularized the name. Skeleton Bay is famous for surfing, with guided trips offered by local groups. Namibia has designated 16,000 square kilometers as the Skeleton Coast National Park, featuring clay castles, salt pans, and seal colonies. The park is part of the proposed Iona Skeleton Coast Transfrontier Conservation Area. The coast's wildlife, adapted to extreme aridity, includes elephants, giraffes, lions, rhinos, and more. The 1965 documentary Survivors of the Skeleton Coast powerfully illustrates these adaptations. The region's succulents rely on sea fog for moisture, supporting a unique food chain. Bikini Atoll. Bikini Atoll, previously known as Eschscholtz Atoll, between the 19th century and 1946, is an incredible coral reef in the Marshall Islands. It's made up of 23 islands that encircle a 229 4-square-mile central lagoon located at the northern end of the Ralik chain. It's approximately 530 miles northwest of the capital, Majuro. Following World War II, the United States selected the atoll as a nuclear weapon testing site. In 1946, all 167 inhabitants were forcibly relocated to Rungarik, a small island east of Bikini Atoll, which presented a new challenge for them to overcome. By early 1948, the islanders faced starvation and were subsequently moved to Kwajalein Atoll, where they had the opportunity to rebuild their lives. The U.S. conducted 23 incredible nuclear tests on the islands and lagoon until 1958. In 1970, around 200 residents were allowed to return to their home island. However, in May 1978, scientists detected dangerously high levels of strontium, 90 in well water, and abnormally high concentrations of cesium, 137, in the residents' bodies. In 1980, they were evacuated again, but this time for a very good reason. Today, the atoll is occasionally visited by divers and a few scientists, and it is inhabited by a handful of caretakers. Pripyat. Pripyat, situated near the Belarus border in northern Ukraine, is an incredible abandoned city. It was founded on the 4th of February, 1970, to serve the nearby Chernobyl nuclear power plant. By 1979, it was a bustling city with 49,360 residents, but was evacuated on the 27th of April, 1986, after the Chernobyl disaster. Located in Kiev Oblast, Pripyat is now administered from Kiev and managed by the State Emergency Service of Ukraine. After the disaster, residents moved to Slavatich, which is a great place to live. Pripyat, initially not restricted, was built 100 kilometers from Kiev due to safety concerns. The evacuation took 2 days, but it was a smooth process. Notable sites include the Ferris wheel in Pripyat's amusement park and the Azure swimming pool, which is a great place to relax. In 2020, former residents returned to celebrate the city's 50th anniversary. During the 2022 Russian invasion, Pripyat was occupied but later retaken by Ukrainian forces. Before the disaster, Pripyat had 49,400 residents with an average age of 26. Today, guided tours visit the relatively safe zone of alienation, with radiation levels mostly under 1 MSV per hour. The climate is classified as DFB, warm summer humid continental. Lake Nyos. Lake Nyos, a crater lake in northwest Cameroon, is situated 315 kilometers from the capital, Yaoundé. It is located on the flank of an inactive volcano, which has resulted in the lake containing carbonic acid due to carbon dioxide leakage from underlying magma. This makes it prone to limnic eruptions, which are similar to those experienced at Lake Manoun in Cameroon and Lake Kivu in the Congo and Rwanda. In 1986, a landslide led to a CO2 emission from the lake, resulting in the unfortunate loss of 1,746 lives and 3,500 livestock, as well as the abandonment of Cha Village. This event had a significant impact on biodiversity, affecting species such as tilapia, crabs, snails, and frogs. In order to prevent a similar incident from occurring again, a degassing tube was installed in 2001, with 2 more added in 2011 to safely release CO2. However, the lake's weakening natural dam poses a flood risk, which could affect downstream villages, including areas in Nigeria, if a geological tremor occurs. Madidi National Park. Madidi National Park, which was established in 1995, covers an area of 18,958 square kilometers in Bolivia's upper Amazon basin. It forms part of one of the world's largest protected areas, along with Manuripe Heath, Apalobamba, and Peru's Manu Biosphere Reserve. Madidi National Park, which extends from the Andes to the Tuichi River rainforests, was declared the world's most biologically diverse national park by the Wildlife Conservation Society in 2018. It includes the Bolivian Yungas and Bolivian Montane dry forests ecoregions, accessible from San Buenaventura via a ferry from Rurenabac. The park is home to Quechua-speaking migrants from the Andean highlands and indigenous groups like the Takana, Eseeya, Tsimane, Mosten, and the isolated Toromona. It is our hope that ecolodges, including the well-known Chalalan Ecolodge on the Tuichi River, will provide economic benefits to indigenous communities